but they received according to their individual abilities to handle what they received. Let me make a point right here before I forget it. Like it or not, everybody has not been given the same ability. Everybody was not given the same quantity of ability. You might be able to sing, but maybe you can't sing as good as somebody else. Don't worry, because you can't hit them high notes. Hit the notes you can hit and be glad about it. So you lady and you can't sing soprano, sing some good bass. Am I making any sense here? Am I making any sense? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Don't get bent out of shape because you didn't get what somebody else got. Don't get bent out of shape because you didn't get the same amount that somebody else got. There are some 5 abilities people, and there are some 1 ability people. That's the reality. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look at what happened next. Look at what happened next. The servant who received 5 talents of money immediately went out and invested what had been entrusted to him. You see, he recognized that he had a responsibility. He didn't know what, if any, return he would get, but he did know that he would get nothing if he did nothing. The servant who received 2 talents of money did the same thing. He invested what had been entrusted to him, and he doubled his. But the servant who had received 1 talent of money went out and dug a hole in the ground and buried what had been entrusted to him to use and invest. That's important. That's important. Don't lose sight of that. Look at this story. Look at this story and think of its implications in light of our current situation. I don't mean to be a fearmonger, but I do think that we need to start taking a careful look at how we're going to handle the future. Now, we can be proactive and move forward, or we can be passive and become sour and bitter. Read that 14th chapter of Exodus sometime. Before God ever told Moses to stretch out his hand, he told him to tell the people of Israel to move forward. Sometimes you got to start walking forward when you can't see what's going to happen. You ever walked in faith? Have you ever just started going and didn't know where you were going, how you were going to get there, what you were going to do once you got there, but you just had enough faith to believe that I need to move from this place to another place? We can take what we do have and use it to our advantage, or we can throw up our hands in frustration because we don't use what we have. We can throw up our hands because of what we don't have. My Lord. The tragedy of this story, is that the man who was given 1 talent of money refused to use what he had been given. He was so envious of what had been given to others that he refused to use what had been given to him. He missed a blessing. When I was young, my dad and mama was from Mississippi. Born before the Depression, they was grown during the Depression, but grew up poor. My daddy was a sharecropper. And I grew up in a house But sometimes the lunch, it wasn't necessarily that we were that poor all the time.
Yes, sir.
But there were some habits that are hard to break.
All right.
And you know the old folk, now, all y'all under 35 and 40, you probably ain't gonna know nothing about this. But some of y'all about 60 years old or more, I just, you know. The old folk, when they cook the leftover cornbread, they left it on the stove in a pan or something. And when you got ready to eat your little lunch or snack the next day, you took that yesterday's cornbread earlier in the day and you crumbled it up in a glass and you poured some buttermilk. Poured some buttermilk over it, and you had some milk and bread. Huh? And y'all laughing at that. I see some of you turning up, you know. But let me let you in on a secret. When you got through eating that milk and bread, you were full. I remember sometimes we had something else, but sometimes my daddy tell my mama, fix me some butter and bread. And every now and then, Brother Caleb, I still like to do it. Just a hot skillet of cornbread. The butter been sitting out and kind of got room temperature. And when you get that hot cornbread, put it over that kind of room temperature butter and let it melt. You don't mash it up with a fork, but you take your finger. And then you know, eat it like that. And a nice tall glass of buttermilk. Lord, have mercy. I don't care what you say, that's still good eating. I know y'all think I'm foolish. The folks in television land gonna say, what them fools done over there now? I'm just trying to say something. Sometimes we get so caught up on a thing can only be done a certain way, we'll miss out on the blessing that's staring us in the face. Some of y'all would go hungry because you ain't got no string beans, but there's some yesterday's bread on the stove. Let me move on from that. He missed the blessing. He missed the blessing for his life because he didn't take advantage of what had been entrusted to him. His envy, his jealousy, his self-pity caused him to miss an opportunity to better himself. This man was spiritually malnourished. That's why he could see no potential in the one talent that he received. Spiritual malnourishment is a disorder that is negatively affecting many Christians. Spiritual malnourishment can be the result of not feeding properly on the Word of God and not regularly fellowshipping in the community of saints. Don't try to face the cares and concerns of the future alone. Don't draw up and crawl into a corner because things get difficult. You don't need to stay at home because stuff done got hard on you. You need to come out here to the church house. Now this is hot off the press too. Y'all young folks, you better start listening to some of these old folks. Because they gonna tell you they're going to remember. All of them ain't senile. Some of them going to remember some recipes to show you how to make use of some of that stuff you got around the house. You ain't going to be able to McDonald it. Well, let me move on. If you're not careful,